At the last attempt, the Unicorns finally secured a win in this season's YB40 as they finally ended Leicestershire's hopes of reaching the semi-finals with a 42-run Matt Lineker-inspired win at Grace Road. The part-timers made the most of being put in by their hosts, with Tom Lansfield and Lineker getting them off to an ideal start. Lineker, fresh from his 100 in the defeat to Yorkshire last week, again looked in sublime form, as emphasised by this wonderful flick off Michael Thornley, which carried the distance. The former Derbyshire player struck that 6 and 6 other 4s in an excellent half-century, which occupied only 44 balls. On this form, a county or two will surely come knocking at the left-hander's door before too long. He opened up with a stand of 114 in 22.5 overs before Lansfield was bowled by Josh Cobb for a rather stodgy 38, which had used up 73 deliveries. Derby-born Lineker continued to enjoy his return to the East Midlands with some scintillating stroke play. His team had frightened 1 or 2 counties this summer without ever getting over the line, but Lineker was ensuring that his side were to have a real chance of finally securing a deserved victory, as he stayed positive after making 107 in a losing cause at Headingley in his last game. He matched that by getting to 3 figures again. It was a top knock from the 28-year-old whose former Derbyshire teammate Wes Durston had earned a second chance at a county career through weight of runs for the Unicorns. This brilliant ton had come off only 86 balls, with that being his 14th 4 to go with 1-6. He'd helped his side to a score of 195 in the 33rd over when he lost Gary Park at the other end, Anthony Ireland bowling him for a runner ball 31. But Lineker looked to be in a different class from his teammates. Take this 6 off Ireland as confirmation of that. With 28 balls of the innings left, he was still going strong, but lost Bharat Tripathi at the other end as he yorked himself to give Shiv Thakur a wicket. Lineker was finally out in the 37th over for a career-best 132 as he holed out off Thornley, but it had been a quite brilliant knock which had used up only 106 balls. Keith Parsons then followed for a duck LBW to Thakur, who was expensive in spite of his pair of wickets. Lewis Hill then thrashed the last ball of the innings for a 6 as the Unicorns ended their 40 overs on a rather threatening 259 for 5, which gave themselves a real chance. In response, the Foxes needed a good start, and they got one through Cobb and Niall O'Brien. Cobb began this competition with 300s in his first 3 innings, and he knew that he needed to score big again if his side were going to have anything to play for going into their last couple of group matches. He and O'Brien took 65 runs off the first 10 overs, while crucially keeping their wickets intact. Cobb was halfway to another 100 in the 14th over, as he deposited Devon Endersby for a 6 to get to his 50 off 50 balls. It was all going just as he would have wanted, as he put on 89 in the first 15 overs with O'Brien. Then Cobb was bang in front to the leg spinner Josh Poynton for 53, a wicket which opened the door for the Unicorns. 5 overs later, after another 20 had been added, O'Brien chipped a ball back to the bowler Luke Bevan, who clung on at full stretch to remove the Irishman for 44. Halfway through their innings, Leicestershire had made 112 for 2, with another 148 needed off the next 20, but then they lost Greg Smith, who drove Bevan to park at long off. With 13 overs left, the target had been reduced to 115, but the Foxes had to do that without Matt Boyce, who gave the medium pacer Park the first of his 4 wickets. That was a fairly comfortable return catch, but the way in which he removed Ned Eckersley was anything but. That was a sensational take, which left Leicestershire on 166 for 4 with 10 overs left. Leicestershire then started to panic a little, and Thakur was run out by Christopher Skidmore as he tried to take on a run which simply wasn't there. Skidmore then bowled Thornley for 11, leaving the home side 58 to get off the last 23 balls. Park then returned to have Ireland caught in the deep, with the game just about won now for the visitors. It certainly was when Park grabbed his 4th wicket as James Sykes holed out before he'd scored. He finished with figures of 4 for 39, a career best, while Skidmore bowled last man Alex Wyatt at the end of the penultimate over to send the Unicorns into raptures. At last, in their final game, they'd wrapped up a victory against a first-class county. Leicestershire were all out for 217 to lose by 42 runs, and that means that their hopes of qualifying for the semis is at an end. They still have 2 games to go, but can no longer catch up the top 2 in the group.